Hey, it's Kesha. Welcome and welcome back. So, well, let us just go ahead and center in, and then we'll just get into the meat of it. So just close our eyes, take a few deep breaths, and let it out. A few deep breaths, letting it out. Just collect all of your power back to yourself, bring back all of your energy. Just begin to feel yourself settle into your seat, bringing your consciousness present to this time and space in this moment. Let any cares, concerns, or worries just drift away. And just breathe in the essence of who you are. Breathe in your energy. Release anything that is not like unto itself, that is not for your highest and best. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Okay. So, for the last couple of days, I've had this book, The Dynamic Laws of Prayer, sitting on my desk. And I didn't realize that the spine on it was cracked, but I should have noticed something when the book was laying open flat, which is rather unusual. But I didn't have it turned to any particular page. It was just open. And I'm going through some things, busy week. And the book had been laying there, and I'd see it out of the corner of my eye, but didn't really, give it too much attention, because the reason I pulled it out wasn't really clear to me, and I wasn't sure why it was sitting on the desk to begin with and what it was I was going to be looking for. But anyway, it was laying open. Well, last night I was working at the desk and it was getting late, and I happened to look over at it and something said, give it a read. So I went over and I just looked at a paragraph, looked at a couple of words, and what caught my eye was a passage, the Christ in you is your hope of glory. It's from Colossians 1:27. And I had turned it into an affirmation. Christ in me is my hope of glory. Now, keep in mind, like I said, I've been really busy and I've been going through some things. And when I said those words, it had a little zing. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a perfect prayer and affirmation for me in this moment. And but I wasn't quite ready to sit and actually read and get into it. But as I was working, I just kept repeating that phrase over and over. And I was running into some trouble with the work I was doing, but I kept repeating the phrase, and the problems would go away. I would get it solved and I'd move on to the next thing. And so that's how it went for probably about an hour or so. And then it was late, and I was like, I need to go shower and go to bed. So and knowing that, I usually, when I shower and rinse the day off, I'm going to get, that second, third, or fifth wind, depending on where I am in my day. And I was like, well, maybe I'll read a little bit before I go to bed. Maybe it's not quite that late. So I'm laying in bed and I'm reading. And the passage, I'll read some of it with you, where she's talking about, behold the Christ in yourself. And she's like, once she had prayed about a difficult situation and to no avail, and Spirit said to her, Catherine, why don't you pray for yourself? And, behold the Christ in yourself, not just in the situation. And, she goes on and talks about that, and then starts the section of, Christ in you is your hope of glory. And so I'm reading that, and as I'm reading her words and the affirmations that she's writing about herself in the situation, I started saying them out loud. And then I kind of closed the book and just started saying the affirmations organically based on my situation and, what I want for my life. And this rampage went on for about, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I was so positively energized that I was I was vibrating. I could feel it in my chest. I was just, and all of the cares, concerns, and the worries and the shit that I'm going through was gone, done. And I was over it. Not just me being over it, but I had overcome it and was in the space of it's resolved. It's fixed. I have overcome this challenge. I have met this initiation successfully. I have mastered this test. It was done. And I just felt amazing, and I felt complete, right? So at that point, I'm like, I want to settle down a little bit because I still want to go to bed and get some sleep. So I did. And when I woke up this morning, I had so much energy, like I vaulted out of bed, right? And that doesn't happen. And I didn't realize that, I slept so well last night, to the extent that I didn't realize that I had not been sleeping well. I've been sleeping okay. It was fine. But last night was like, it was that, like, there was this peace that I had that I didn't have before. And it was beautiful, right? So I recognized that when I woke up, and I've kind of been like, I've been doing my work all week. I've been, what needs to get done is getting done, and I'm showing up and all of that. But today, I had a supernatural level of power and energy. And even though it's, it's 7:20 now. I feel like it's 1:00 in the afternoon. Like, I have all the energy in the world, and I've still got a day's worth of work to do after this. And I have every confidence that it's going to get done. And I just have so much energy. I was almost too powerful in my yoga practice today. And I was even like, I don't know, it was just, and the level of like personal power I have is exponential right now. How I feel about this test and the situation and what's going on with me, I don't feel like there's another prayer to pray. I feel like it's done. Like it's done. And there was a moment this morning where I was doing like my morning prayers, and I thought, because it's been the case all week that I would say prayers specifically to cover the situation. But when I thought to do that, like, I didn't have the words for it. It didn't feel necessary. And I was like, I think, because it's already done. The only word for me was thank you. Thank you, God. Like, it's done. And it's done. And so I just went with that. And that's, when you're in the process of manifestation, when you can get to that place where you just know in your heart with every fiber of your being that it's done, it's taken care of, and you can move from that space, and you're expecting it, and you still don't know how it's going to unfold, but you know that it will. Like, that level of peace is central and key to being able to manifest anything, and to heal yourself of whatever affliction, whether it's mental or physical, that you are going through. And so I thought it was too important to me for me not to share. So I thought, let's do that. So what I'm going to do is just go through a similar type of rampage and like saying the affirmation that I did last night. And you can just like close your eyes and sit back and listen. Really, what I want you to take away from this is the practice of how this is done. Because it's not important when you're doing your prayers and affirmations that you say exactly what I say. What's important is that you speak your truth to the universe. You talk to God in the way that makes the most sense for you, right? That's what a direct connection is about. It's not about, and I see this with people, and I probably see this because I recognize it in myself from, my early days of seminary. We have this idea that prayers to God must be this holy thing. And no, baby, it's, you need to talk to God like he's one of your boys. You need to talk to him like he's somebody important to you, somebody that you respect and revere. Yes, but when things are difficult, when you're being challenged, when you're hurting, you need to be able to take that to prayer too, and talk to God and talk to the universe like look, I need for you to see what's happening. I need for you to hold me in this space. I need for you to show up for me, or show up in me, or as me, or whatever the word is. But it's really important that you speak your prayer and what's on your heart in the way that makes the most sense for you. And it's also really important that you speak it out loud. Now, there's back and forth always between, is it better to say your prayers, to yourself silently, quietly, or to say them out loud? And the answer is, it depends. It depends. When you're saying your prayers to yourself quietly in your head, those are the prayers that have the greatest effect on changing your mind, right? Because your voice is so close to your head the voice in your head is close to the thoughts in your mind. And when you're speaking those prayers quietly to yourself, you're usually trying to change a thought or the way that you're trying to see things. And that's fantastic for that. But when you're trying to manifest something and bring it into the physical, you need to speak it out into the physical, right? You need to speak it from your chest, because your solar plexus in your heart is your activation and the attractive magnet that's going to bring to you the opportunities and connections and resources and ideas that are needed to help you overcome. And if you think about it, it's like some of the Bible verses that came to mind when I was thinking about this today, putting this together, is, make a joyful noise, right? We don't make a joyful noise singing quietly to ourselves in our heads, right? We need that full expression. And I was thinking too about, Joshua and the troops when they're going over to claim the promised land. That whole story is, the troops were gathered and they marched around the walls for 7 days, right? And at the end, they made a loud shout, and the walls came down. It was that voice. It was giving voice and giving air to that power that brought that down. And I think when you're trying to bring something into fruition, you have to, see it in your mind and accept that it's possible for you. And then once you've done that, it starts to change your thoughts, which necessarily changes your speech and your action. But at some point, we talk about speaking it into existence. And that's something that has to happen vocally and out loud. And so I think that's where the power came from last night that brought me to that space of peace that I didn't even, peace is a multifaceted and multidimensional and, multi-level kind of thing. It's we say the peace that passes understanding, but every time you feel it, it feels a little bit different. It has depending on the situation and where you are when you experience it, it resonates a little differently. And last night with me, it resonated, really to the foundations of my world. And I feel like everything has been recalibrated to that new and higher vibration. And that's what made me want to share that with you. So I'm going to give you a blueprint, and it's my hope that whatever affirmations and prayers you decide to say, that again, you're saying them in your words to the situation that speaks to you, and you're saying it with your full chest, full on, because that's where the power is. So I'm just going to go ahead and close my eyes, because that's how I did it last night. Christ in me is my hope of glory. Christ in me is overcoming any and all the challenges that I'm facing. Christ in me is showing me how to navigate this next phase of my life. Christ in me is my hope of glory, and it's showing me how to pay my bills on time, in full, and in peace, with plenty of money left over to spare and share. Christ in me is covering all that concerns me with its love, power, peace, and protection. Christ in me is producing perfect results in every aspect of my world right now. Christ in me is healing my body from the inside out, healing all conditions of mind at depth. Christ in me produces finished results here, now, today, and always. Christ in me is showing me exactly what steps to take, when to take them. Christ in me is an ever-present guide, ever-present protection, and ever-present support. The Christ in me is expressing in all of my communications. Christ in me shows up before I do and makes smooth my way. Christ in me is overshadowing me with light. Christ in me is overshadowing me with love. It's overshadowing me with power and plenty and partnerships. Christ in me is my hope of glory, and I am gloriously overcoming all of these challenges here, now, today, and always. Christ in me makes my way straight. Christ in me puts the next step right in front of me, thus taking away any worry about what the future may be. Christ in me keeps me steady in this moment and keeps me on the sure path. Christ in me illuminates the way. There is no darkness. Christ in me is the light from within that shines outward brightly. Christ in me speaks only truth. Christ in me sees the best in everyone. The Christ in me helps me make amazing strides right here, right now. Christ in me draws to me all that is needed to make me happy, my life complete and permanently perfect. Christ in me is showing me how to allow all the good that I want into my world. Christ in me is making a way within me to receive all the good that I want, all the good that is making its way to me now. Christ in me makes me magnetically attractive and divinely irresistible to my good. Christ in me produces perfect results right here, right now, today, now, and always. Christ in me is my hope and glory. I know I've overcome. Christ in me makes my life absolutely magical. The divine illumination of the Christ in me draws to me the people, the power, and the resources I need to make my visions reality. Christ in me is a steady hand guiding me through every test and every obstacle I might encounter. The Christ in me greets the Christ in everyone I see, whether they believe in the Christ or not. Christ in me is a smile on my face and a song in my heart and power in my steps. Christ in me is bigger than I can imagine and more than I can hold, and I love all of it. Christ in me makes all these things possible, even if I can't see a way. The Christ in me knows what's the next step and is a sure and steady guide. The Christ in me provides all the resources, time, energy, money that I need to make a success of my plans. Christ in me provides me with the insight and wisdom I need to make the right choices for myself and others. The Christ in me is my forgiving power, forgiving myself for any time that I thought I fell short of the mark, and forgiving others if I was offended by their words or actions. Christ in me sees only love and wants to operate only in love. Christ in me is the best thing about me, and that's what's always shining forth. The Christ in me is me, and that's all you need to know. So, those words were different from what I spoke last night, but I'm having the same sense of, like just being alive and on fire. And do you remember when we did the meditation on the indwelling spirit? And we took the divine flame within us and we expressed it outwards. It's that feeling. It's that feeling. And the cool thing about this is that you can do this when you're driving, right? You can, and if you're in your car by yourself, all the reason to get loud and get proud with it. Yeah, like you can take this with you wherever you go because it's within you. And you don't have to sit with your eyes closed and, demand quiet of your surroundings. You can say this. If you sing in the shower, you can pray in the shower. And sure, in those moments when you can't speak it out loud because other people are present or, that's not an appropriate time, the fact that you can connect with this energy vocally out loud means that you will have a touchstone for those moments when you're saying it to yourself silently. So you'd be able to access that same power, right? I look forward to, like I said, it's only been a day, but what a day it's been. Like, whoa. I got some of the best ideas. I don't know if I told you that in the beginning, but yeah, I got some of the best ideas about some of the projects that I've been thinking about. It's just like the channel for information was just that much stronger and brighter and clearer. I can't wait to see what comes of not only, the things that I'm working on specifically that brought me to this, but just in general, like to take a moment each day and to have a few minutes of voicing this prayer and speaking these affirmations out loud to the universe, to yourself, to God. It changes your vibration, which necessarily is going to change how people respond to you, how the world responds to you, and what great good can come of that, especially since that's what you're keying your eye to see. This is powerful business, y'all. And I'm just glad you're with me on the journey. And, leave me comments. Try it, leave me some comments. Tell me what you think. I'm curious to see who else is affected by this because I just, like for real, y'all, for real. All right, I'm going to leave you now. This is enough. You've had enough of me for now. So until the next time, I will love you like I do. Bye.